Hi, this is Rebecca Sutton with the Resilient Women Club. You can find me online at beccasutton.com. You can also go to resilientwomen.club and join our network and support group. During the past few weeks, I've come across a wonderful person named Mala Kennedy, and she helps women find their voice. Welcome, Mala.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
It's wonderful to have you. I'm really eager to hear your story and see how our audience can gain insight from it. So tell me about yourself.
Sure. I grew up, I was adopted, and I grew up as a brown woman raised by a white family who I absolutely adore. And then But I always wished that I was white too because I felt like I didn't belong and I didn't fit in. And then when I was in my 20s, I developed vitiligo on my skin and started turning white and realized that's really not what I wanted. And it was, really, big experience for me.
Wow. So tell me a little bit about how that made you feel as you went through that process.
Um, well, initially there was a lot of fear because I didn't really understand. I didn't that It's a really unpredictable thing, so they didn't know what was going to happen, how it would unfold, and they say it's not really caused by anything, but I do tend to believe that I deeply wanted to fit in so badly that my how I was thinking and my thoughts and my feelings attributed to it. But yeah, it was really scary. And then I just had a little tiny white patch on my hand, and at first, um, nothing really happened. And so for a few years there, I was pretty calm about it because it wasn't really affecting me. And then when it started, after I had my son, it started to escalate a lot, and that's when a lot of fear came in, and I just, I had to do a lot of work on myself
Mm.
to come to terms with it.
Well, tell me more about some of the work you did to overcome that.
Yeah, so I well, one of the major things that I did was I got sober. So I let go of drinking, and that really helped me just face any pain and um, feelings that I was feeling because I was a really numbing stuff with, and it wasn't like I was a heavy drinker at that time, but I was still numbing the edges and not really feeling what I was experiencing. So that was a really big act of self love for me. And then I started just tuning into some daily practices. So I did a lot of mirror work. And I started really simply because it was really confronting, and I wasn't at a place where I was even accepting myself really. So I had to get from like this hatred of my skin to acceptance.
Okay.
It wasn't like straight to self-love, it was slow. So I started with just telling my hands, like lying in bed for 5 minutes a night and telling my hands that I was grateful for them, that I liked them, and that I um thinking of all the positive things they did for me. And the same with my skin, how it was protecting my organs and my body, and just like really, really slow. And then I slowly build up to mirror work and standing in front of the mirror and telling myself how grateful I was and loving myself.
Mm.
And I really dove into a lot of spiritual practices as well. Like I really dove into meditation and journaling, and I just became really present with myself to get to acceptance.
Wow, that's great. How did all that make you a resilient woman?
Um, well, it really, I really went from being like worried because I was really worried about what people thought of me, and I was a really people pleasing kind of person. And I would get comments. As a child, I had the comments about like racial slurs and stuff like that. And then as an adult, I had people comment on my skin and ask questions. And I was really insecure. So I really had to like stand up and own how I looked and own, my identity and who I was, and accept that. And it was tough. I mean, there were like hurtful things said, and I had to keep going and keep going for my son and for myself. And, um, you know, if I hadn't dove into those practices and stuff, I don't know if I would be here.
Right.
It was a really dark place for me, a really dark time. And it was a really scary thing because, you know, it seems superficial the way we look, but people, you know, people judge when they first meet people and stuff. It's a natural human thing, and it's not necessarily a great thing. Like I'm really conscious of um not judging, but it still comes in. And so people were, and I'd get these comments, and I had to um keep going despite them, in spite of them, and
Right.
stand true in who I was, you know.
Well, I can understand how all that would help you help women find their voice, to really
Mm,
stand up and accept their own identity and understand what they have, what message they have for the world.
yeah,
So if
yeah,
you had a
definitely.
message for the world, what would it be?
Just give yourself permission to be yourself, and meet yourself where you're at. So I really don't believe in big jumps. I believe in tiny steps. So
Mm,
if you're at a place where you don't like who you are, don't try and go for like self-love or self-actualization. That's too much of a stretch. It's too high. Start small. Start at self-acceptance. Start at just being okay with yourself, like walking past the mirror and not being repulsed. Like go in little steps, because then you can build on it, and you'll start to like meet yourself at that level and feel, and start to feel and believe that that's possible, believe that you're okay with yourself, and then you can build up and build up and build up. That's what I
mhm.
did. And it was, you know, I could never have got to self-love from where I was. No way. It was too much of a stretch. I didn't believe it. So I think
Right.
starting small is really important.
That's great. Small steps. Well, that's encouraging because that seems to be how most people progress is in small steps, and they get a little frustrated
Mm.
thinking it can be an overnight success. That's in
Yeah.
business or identity. So,
Mm.
you know, as you know, just building a business takes time and takes one step at a time. And like you told me when we first came on, was how you have evolved with your work with women.
Yeah, I really have. It's such a, you know, I've gone through many different iterations of who I wanted to work with and how I show up and stuff. And I think that's a natural thing, and it's great to evolve and grow. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Tell me more about what you do for women and where we can find you online.
Yeah, so thank you. I help women find their voice and master their self, and to me that's about really stepping into like going up the scale from self acceptance. So starting like with self doubt and moving your way up all the way up to self actualization and tapping into your potential. And so I really help women just yeah, give themselves permission to be themselves and really shine as themselves. And I'm on Facebook and Instagram, so at Marla Loves, Mala Loves, and then so that's the best place probably to find me. And then I have my website marlakennedy.com, and that's got all the links to everywhere on there as well.
Great. Thank you. Well, you've heard where we can find Mala and how she can help you find your voice. Hope you'll look her up and give her a chance to work on your identity. This has been Rebecca Sutton with the Resilient Women Club. You can find me online at beccasutton.com. And please join us at resilientwomen.club, the Facebook group. I invite you, Marla, to join the group. It's for networking and support, and it's for women and practitioners to find each other. So
Amazing. Thank you.
thank you. And everyone, thank you for listening. Bye bye.